Welcome to Where the Ramp Ends. I'm Summer.
And I'm Bryce. And this is where the podcast exists because access alone is not the same thing as inclusion.
Ramps, accommodations, policies, they matter. We fight hard for them. But so often, once they're in place, society pats itself on the back and moves on.
Meanwhile, families, self advocates, and communities are left navigating the unknown that comes after the access: belonging, safety, dignity, voice, power, inclusion.
So when we say where the ramp ends, we're talking about the conversations that start after compliance and before real justice.
Well, for our listeners, Summer, I want you to introduce yourself, not just your resume, but who you are.
I'm a parent to a child with a disability, and that alone rewired how I see the world. But I've also worked in behavioral health as a CM1, a parent support specialist, and a behavior coach. I've been inside the systems families depend on, and I've been the parent sitting in the waiting room hoping someone tells me the truth. I also do advocacy work publicly. Sometimes that makes people uncomfortable, but I believe discomfort is often the price of honesty.
And you're not interested in inspirational stories. That stops right here before things get hard.
Exactly. I don't want to sugarcoat reality or exploit it. I want to talk about what actually helps families and people with disabilities live full, respected lives and what gets in the way. Bryce, your turn. Tell people who you are and why this podcast matters to you.
Hello, I am Bryce Wooten. I am a certified life coach and public speaker. I have a degree from enterprise development from Oklahoma State University. I also am a disability advocate on the national and state level. I am also a peer trainer for the Developmental Disabilities Council of Oklahoma. But beyond more than titles, I am a person that lives with cerebral palsy, and I try to help young people find their voice and clarity within their lives.
You're really good at asking the questions most people avoid.
Yes, what pulled me into the podcast is to bridge the gap. Policies without people, intentions without falling through is the key to why I signed on to Where the Ramp Ends.
Let's be really clear about what this podcast is not.
This is not a highlight reel. This is not a feel good story. We are going to be talking about difficult conversations. We are going to talk about what most blurred lines are afraid to say.
We'll talk with self advocates, parents, professionals, educators, and policymakers, especially when perspectives clash.
Even though it is history, it is our history, it is pain, it is his stories, but it is truth. That's one thing that this podcast will always be, is the truth.
And we'll always center person first language and human dignity because words shape outcomes.
The reason why this podcast matters is to have access and advance faster than understanding.
And families are tired of being grateful for crumbs. If you ever thought this isn't what inclusion is supposed to look like, this space is for you.
If you're willing to listen, reflect, maybe learn something, maybe rethink, or if you're just looking to vent as a parent, as somebody with lived experience, this is the space for you to feel seen and loved and respected.
In our next episodes, we'll be diving into real stories, real systems, and real consequences.
Because the ramp isn't the end of our journey, it is just the beginning, where two friends decided that enough was enough and wanted to be a voice for a community.
Welcome to where the ramp ends.
where your journey begins.